the park so that we could get air. It was a beautiful night. And behind me, right behind me, is 7-Eleven. And we decided to sit across the street from the 7-Eleven directly because, you know, we like to go in the 7-Eleven, get our soda, our water, or whatever we may need. And that's what we did, right? So if you could just follow me and I'll show you exactly how my night went. So directly across the street from 7-Eleven is where we decided to have a seat, me, my husband, and my nephew. And we felt like we were in a safe place at the time. There were so many families out here, guys. So many families, kids, newborn baby. And, you know, it's like a tourist area here in this area. So this is where I chose to sit. Actually, baby, move up, please. When we first got to the park, this is where I chose to sit all night. Here, where I was able to sit, see 7-Eleven and cars go by playing their music, families enjoying themselves. And I mean, I remember maybe after like an hour of talking to different people out here and promoting our podcast and just meeting good people, I could just remember how good I felt. You know what I mean? I felt really, really good. And then there was a crowd of kids over here in front of this 7-Eleven, but they seemed to be videoing and doing different things. Nothing was out of the ordinary. And I could remember a young lady from that crowd walked over here, and right before she got here, my husband said, I need to go to the restroom, it's in the park. So I said, okay. He may have took maybe 10 to 15 steps before the young lady started warning her friends, let's go now, let's go now. I mean, let's get out of here. And I'm just standing here looking at her, and I'm watching my husband walk that way. And my nephew was here in front of me. All these beautiful people, and I see the shots from the side of my eye. I could see the fire shots in front of 7-Eleven, so I knew they were coming from 7-Eleven. So immediately my nephew grabbed my hand, but somehow in between this area, I let go of his hand. So I don't know if he was hit, I don't know, you know, he's good now, but at that point, we're talking about at that point, I don't know what happened. His hand left my hand. So everything's happening so fast, and I just felt like, Ethiopia, you've never been in this type of situation. Like, what do you do? You know, what do you do? Where do you go? So I immediately from here knew the shots was behind me. And if you can follow me this way, I ran this way, but I was ducking low to the ground. I was trying to get shelter because there were so many shots. And I made it here to these 2 steps. I remember stepping down these 2 steps here, and I still was low. I didn't want to stay here because the shots was directly behind me. So I knew to take cover. Oh shit. My blood's still here. These weren't here at the time. My blood's still here. So I knew to take cover behind this wall. And I can remember here, as I went to go down and get low to the ground, the bullet went past my head and hit me in my leg. I immediately looked at my leg and said, I'm shot. Well, I said I'm hit. And I fell to the ground. I leaned up against this wall here. And as you can see, it's still my blood here on the ground. My leg was pouring out, so I had to take my shirt off and tie it around my leg and just lean up against the wall and wait for help. My thing was, if I'm behind this wall, a bullet did not come around this wall and hit me. I was hit from this angle here. The bullet went in the right side of my leg and came out the back. So someone in this area was shooting at that time. I don't know if they were shooting back that way or if they were just shooting in the park, but I ran from cover from 7-Eleven, got here, and got shot in the park. While I'm on the ground, I can see people taking cover with their kids. And if you can look around the park and just see how beautiful it is, people were out here taking pictures, picnicking, babies playing ball. You know, it was a lot going on. And I just stayed up against the wall until I could get help. A lot of people was running up to me like, oh my God, she's hit. And I'm like, look, I was really calm. You know, I was like, look, just call 911. No cops were available to us. There was no cops in this park. It was over 1,000 people here. No type of security. So at that moment, while I'm calm, telling everybody I'm okay, just call 911 because I'm worrying about bleeding out, I see my husband. I peeked around this corner. I'll back up a little bit so you guys could see. As I was bent up against the wall, I peeked around the corner and I saw my husband coming from this way. And he was going to the stoop where I was at, and he was asking my nephew, where's he at? And I guess he said he don't know. So I saw my husband and I said, babe, I'm over here. So he come over here and he's like, babe, get up, let's go. And I'm like, I can't. He's like, get up, let's go. And I'm like, babe, I can't, I'm hit. And he like, you're hit? I'm like, yeah, and look at my leg. And from there, my husband was like distraught about the whole situation. Because there was no help and I was sitting here for a minute or more, my husband and my nephew decided to pick me up and rush me to the hospital in a vehicle opposed to waiting on an ambulance. I just felt like I needed to relive the situation because now I'm dealing with trauma behind it, because everybody I stand around, I don't know who shot me. You know what I mean? And I can only imagine what other victims feel like. I don't know who shot me. I could be standing next to the person that shot me. Why do these kids come out here and just shoot and just recklessly do things like that with all these families and kids? I didn't deserve to get shot. And I know people oh, she got shot in the leg. People are dying from gunshot wounds in the leg. And that bullet missed my head by maybe 1.5 inches. You know, I want to cherish life. I want to be here. And the only thing I could think about when I got shot was my husband and my kids and my father. You know, my family. You get what I'm saying? This doesn't just affect me. It affects the people that love you when things like this happen. I don't know. I just feel like, somebody needs to tell the story. You know what I mean? And Charlotte needs to be held accountable. When there's that many people in an uptown city, which is a tourist area, where it's supposed to be safe, we had no security. No security, no patrol officers, no ambulance, no nothing. If they would have saw a bunch of police patrolling, perhaps this wouldn't have happened this way. So, I believe I'm going to tell my story in more depth on the podcast, but I just felt like I needed to share that moment with you guys so you could get a picture of that night of just knowing, the fear that I was facing, after having such a beautiful time with my family. And I appreciate you guys for listening. Have a good day.